What's going on, guys? This is Mias and welcome to my Dinorphia deck profile. So before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe. It really motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these, and yeah, let's jump right into it. So I'll try to make this deck profile a little bit more in-depth instead of just saying I play 3 of this, 3 of this, 3 of this, blah blah blah. No. So I'll actually explain the ratios and also what the cards do. So this first card is Dinorphia Theresia. It's the one card starter. Essentially, when it's normal or special summoned, you get to set a Dinorphia trap card directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone. So that's actually even better than searching the card because it means that it dodges Ash. Very relevant, but obviously the card that would be able to fuse during your opponent's turn can get ashed anyways, so that's kind of a bummer, but whatever. Anyways, the next card is Dinorphia Diplos. So this one actually foolishes for a Dinorphia card from your deck to your grave, and both have the same second effect, whereas when they are destroyed by battle or card effect, including your own card effect, you can banish one trap from your graveyard to summon the other level 4 Dinorphia counterpart. So if Diplos dies, you get to revive back Theresia. If Theresia dies, you get to revive back Diplos. So one issue that I kind of have is that you can break on multiple normal summons because they don't really have an effect to special summon themselves from the hand. So if you draw too many monsters, it could be problematic. And the issue is that you might still have to play a card like Fossil Dig in order to search that Theresia. So now you're stuck with like 9 normal summons, which seriously can make the deck quite inconsistent at times. But at the same time, you're playing so many trap cards, and also you're playing more than 40, so you can actually kind of I don't know how to say it, but kind of drown the one-ups that you don't really want to see, or, well, in this situation, the Diplos, so you have more chances of drawing Fossil Dig or Dinorphia Theresia, instead of just cutting the Fossil Dig entirely, and only being able to draw Theresia. So the math actually are correct in this situation. And I am playing 2 Prosperity with 2 Duality, so that's it for the spell cards. 3 Fossil Dig, 2 Prosperity, 2 Duality. Probably the best way to increase the consistency of this deck. Again, without screwing up your strategy too much, because Duality stops you from special summoning the turn you use it, but it's completely fine because the majority of the special summoning that you're doing is on your opponent's turn anyways. On your own turn, you rarely have to special summon, except if it's on your follow-up turn, but at this point, the Duality would have already been used on turn 1, so unless it's a top deck for turn, or you drew 2 copies of Duality, you should be good. But that's the reason why you're only playing 2 Duality instead of like 3, so you decrease the odds of drawing like multiple copies, which is the one way you break, and that's the reason why I kind of have the variety in the 2 Prosperity and 2 Duality. Alright, for the trap cards, this is going to be fun. So 3 Ice Dragon's Prison. This is a once per turn, but if your opponent has something like Dragoon and you use Ice Dragon's Prison, and your opponent negates the activation of your Ice Dragon's Prison, you can use a second one right after, and obviously remove the Dragoon that way because it doesn't target and it doesn't destroy. So this card is really important. And also, if you draw 2 copies, you can use the effect to revive back a dark monster from your opponent's graveyard, and then use the other copy on your own turn to revive back another monster, make dark, crash the dark, and then search your Theresia or Diplos. Well, probably Theresia because it's the way you get your engine started, so technically, even if you break like crazy, you can still kind of get to an engine eventually just with trap cards. Recklessness in Punishment is actually a pretty interesting one. It would be garbage in most decks, but in this deck it actually makes sense because it reads, if your life points are lower than your opponent's, activate one of these effects. So either destroy 1 monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to the difference, or special summon 1 monster from your graveyard with attack less than or equal to the difference. It's not once per turn, which is really important, so drawing multiple copies really isn't that bad, and you can destroy like 4k attack monsters if you resolve like 1 domain, because it pays half of your life points even for cost. So even if it gets ashed and you have multiple copies of this, pop, or revive back monsters, get back your Theresia, set a card. So it's kind of nice actually to see this card in multiple sometimes. And yeah, of course, I'm playing 3 Domain and 3 Frenzy. This card increases the consistency of the deck even more. It's basically just 3 extra copies of Domain. And I wouldn't want to play Trap Trick, by the way, in the main deck. I know I have it in the idea section, but in the main deck, it wouldn't be good because you're playing so many trap cards that sometimes you would have to use Trap Trick first and then set your trap card, and then you can only use 1 trap for the rest of the turn. So all your other trap cards are just doing nothing at all, and I'm not a really big fan of that. Anyways, 2 Dinorphia Alert. This is like a baby soul charge, so pay half of your life points, special summon up to 2 Dinorphia monsters from your graveyard, whose total level equal 8 or less. So in other words, you get to either revive back the big level 8, or 1 level 6, or 2 level 4s. This is basically how you can use Alert. However, you are locked under Dinorphia monsters from the extra deck for the, well, special summon Dinorphia monsters for the rest of the turn. And also, the monsters that you revive back cannot attack that turn, which kind of sucks. So if you use this on your own turn, watch out, because even if it doesn't specify that you have to summon your monster in defense, you can still summon an attack. They cannot declare attacks, so you can't really use this to deal extra damage. So this is typically the kind of card that you would use on your opponent's end phase in order to revive back 2 monsters, and then next turn you make Dolka, you use your domain, you summon Kentragina, and then you use the effect again to summon another Kentragina, and this is basically always OTK. Alright, Torrential Tribute is actually an extremely interesting one again, because this card basically almost helps you at this point. It's really similar to Yang Zing, whereas it's the kind of card that not only hurts your opponent, but also in a way transforms your monsters into monsters that could be even more useful, because whatever, let's just say you destroy your Theresia and Diplos, you get to revive back your 2 other monsters, but this time they get to trigger their effects since they are summoned, so you're going to get another Foolish, and you're going to be getting another set. So very, very cool interaction that Torrential Tribute has in this deck, and I actually even showcased combos with Torrential Tribute with Dinorphia. So if you haven't watched my Dinorphia combo video, make sure you do it when it is one of the most recently uploaded videos on my channel. Again, huge rip to everyone watching this video like 500 years later. Anyways, 2 Dinorphia Brutes, so I forgot which kind of card actually did that. Double Cyclone or something. Anyways, pay half of your life points, destroy both 1 Dinorphia monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls. So it doesn't target. Pretty freaking nice. And of course, you can copy the effect of this card with the big Fusion Boy. So this card is very, very cool. 3 Frenzy, I already kind of explained that. 3 goes in match, it's better than Rivalry. Don't play Rivalry. All your monsters are Dark Dinosaur. So in theory, you can play both, but Rivalry just doesn't cover as many meta decks. And Skill Drain, it actually makes your Kentragina bigger, because instead of sometimes having like 2000 attack, stuff like that, it always has 4k. So really, really big, and also you still get the floating effects. So Skill Drain not only destroys your opponent, but doesn't really hurt you too much. And then 3 Solemn Strike, 3 Solemn Judgment, and the Dinorphia Sonic, which negates a spell or trap card while you control a Dinorphia monster, and then destroys a Dinorphia monster you control. Again, basically helps you out. Alrighty, for the extra deck, I'm playing 2 Rexstrum, so this is the new fusion monster. It's basically a skill drain. You can actually go read it, but this card is very, very dangerous, and it made the deck so much better than it was before. This deck already has quite the potential, but it's very dangerous to play, because you're always killing yourself. So you're literally always 1 Hayate away from dying, or 1 Sparks. I know a lot of... I got a lot of kind of people commenting, like, oh yeah, Sparks would literally kill this deck. In theory, not too much, because you can banish the effect, but banish the trap cards in order to reduce the effect damage to 0, and the counter trap is the only one that actually reduces the battle damage to 0, but still. So yeah, very dangerous deck to play. Anyways, 3 Kentragina, 2 Stealth Big. Yeah, this card's not great, honestly. Kentragina is way better. This card has a very irrelevant effect that really doesn't come up too often, and also you don't have to pay life points to activate trap cards when you have 2k or less life points, but I mean, whatever. Anyways, I'm also playing Zeus, Lagia, Dolka, Tornado Dragon, Daigusto Emerald, and Dugaris, so a bunch of Xyz monsters. You also could be playing Dark Rebellion with a Dark Overlord or something like that in order to have a Zeus with 4 materials, but I don't think I recommend it too much. These monsters are really big enough on their own. And then the Dark Charmer with Salamangreat Elmirage for the combo with Diplos and the Alert. Alright, for the idea section, I have a lot of cards that I don't think I'll ever be playing, so technically it's a dinosaur deck, so you could technically play Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, but I mean, are you really going to be doing that? Jesus. No, don't play Conductor Tyranno. You don't get the cards in your graveyard on your own turn, you get them on your opponent's turn. So this card is always a dead card when you draw it turn 1. I also don't recommend hand traps. The deck is kind of a control deck, very slow at the very beginning, and then it becomes very aggressive, maybe turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, but turn 1 you're not doing too much. So yeah, whatever, I don't know why this is there. I'm only playing 2 of this one in the extra deck anyways. It's rarely a card that I'm summoning, to be honest. I'm usually sending it as material for Frenzy in order to summon Rexstrum. Utopia Beyond with Vampire Sheridan, because you can use the level 6's monsters for a rank 6. And then Baguska, Dweller, Phoenix, Called by the Grave, Lost World, I think there are combos that you can do with this card. And then Imperm, Trap Trick, Crackdown. Crackdown is pretty cool. Same argument with Ice Dragon's Prison, when you can steal your opponent's monster and then make dark with it and get your engine started. And Mistake is really, really cool. Yeah, sure, it actually conflicts with every single spell in your deck, but you could maybe cut them out and put Mistake in Game 2 and Game 3 when you know that you're going first. So that could definitely be a possibility. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this Dinorphia deck profile. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Of course, you already know it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.